This is Community Forum. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Community Media. Today, our spotlight is Nate's Toy Box, and our special guest, Gary and Pam Schroeder. Gary, let's share the story of how Nate's Toy Box got started.
Sure. Unfortunately, Nate's Toy Box got started when there was a tragic accident where our son was killed in a car accident. As you can imagine, we were devastated, as any family would be, losing a child. And we had friends who came to us and said that we have an idea to kind of memorialize Nate. He loved children, he loved toys, and even though he was 28 when he passed away, he still loved toys. And so they said, how about a toy drive in memory of Nate? And he was not one to have like a golf outing or a 5K or anything like that, but he did love toys and children. And so we said, that's a great idea. So we sent out a note to family, to friends, and said, we want to do this in memory of Nate, and then give those toys to families who may be in need in our area. From there, we sent it out. We got a great response from family and friends. And we went to Sun Ministry, our local food pantry, to Bunny Borchelt, who was the director at that time, and said, Bunny, we're going to collect these toys. Would you like to give toys to families that you serve? And she said, we would love to do that. And so we gave the toys to Bunny, who then distributed them to families that she served through the pantry. And from there, it just has grown into a great community event with involvement for the whole community.
Well, we'll get deeper into how and where and what's going on with that. And was his toy box called Nate's Toys Box?
Yes, yeah, he had a toy chest, a big toy chest with a lid, and we called it Nate's Toy Box. That's where he kept all of his stuff.
And to give us a better perspective, what kind of toys did he like in that toy box?
Oh my gosh. He loved Legos. He loved Star Wars figures and all of the vehicles. And he loved G.I. Joe figures, which were all popular at the time when he was young in, I'd say, through the 80s, 1980s. And just so many things like that. He was a comic book collector. So that just was a natural to do something like this.
So you had them all in the toy box.
Yes.
Now, our kids went through different stages. They also liked G.I. Joe. They liked the Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
The whole 9 yards. So I'm there with you.
Yes.
Now, you talked about the partnership, but Pam, when you started this initial partnership, was it difficult to get the ball rolling?
No, actually, it just sort of fell into place. And I think a lot of that was because people loved to give locally. They knew that the toys were going to some families and children locally. So it wasn't hard. It just, it was born out of a memorial, but I think a lot of people took heart to it.
Well, you started with the ministries, and then you
Yes.
moved into a different partnership in 2013. Tell us about that.
That was with Northwest Local School District. The school district had individual groups, retired teacher groups, et cetera, who would sponsor families at Christmas time. They would do clothing and food and toys. And the school district came to us and said, you've got something good going here. Why don't you do toys? We'll do everything else. And we'll help you and back you with families. And so that's when we went beyond just the food pantry families and went to the families within the whole Northwest School District. And so it really grew at that point. We needed to collect more toys because of that, and it fell into place.
Where do you get the names of the families from?
Okay, the names of the families come from the social worker from the Northwest Local School District. These are the names that are provided to her by principals, nurses, teachers. These are kind of the, if I can say, the neediest of the needy. They give us a list, and we know ahead of time, and this is for our Christmas distribution, we know ahead of time the families that will be coming, the number of children, the ages, genders of those children. And so we make sure at the time of the distribution that we have enough toys for each age group, for each gender.
When you get those names of the families, do you reach out to the families before you bring particular toys and clothing and that type of thing to kind of get an idea of what size of the kids and also what type of toy they may want?
Okay, we have a large variety of toys, and so the parents actually come in and choose. Historically, the family's been able to choose 3 toys for each child, and there's a wide variety. We have lots of toys because we don't want that last family that comes through to have just a few toys to choose from. And so because we'll choose the toys and have them on display, according to age, we know how many children of each age group and gender that are coming in. So we'll have plenty of toys for each group for them to choose from, even that last family that comes through.
Gary, how far is the program's outreach?
Okay, we stick pretty much to the Northwest Local School District area. And that has been our focus from the beginning. And I think because of that, we've had such an influx of support from the community because, as Pam mentioned earlier, people like to give where the toys are going to go locally, and so that's where the toys come from. We have collection sites throughout the community, but we do get support from far away. People who have heard about Nate's Toy Box. They will send toys. They will send donations, but as far as the distribution of toys, mainly within the Northwest Local School District.
Have you, through the years, been contacted by other communities asking about what you're doing and you using your model for what they're doing, Pam?
Yes, we have. And other churches that do this at holidays, and we've sat down and shared our experiences, the good, the bad, what works, what doesn't work, and service organizations. And a lot of people have looked at this as a model over the years and have jumped on board with a lot of the ideas that we use because we've been doing this will be our 19th year. And it's tried and true. We know what works and what doesn't work, and we tweak it every year.
And when you see the families and you see their faces, how do the two of you feel?
It's a lot of work every year, and we were 19 years younger when we started this. It's a wonderful feeling because the parents come in and we see a lot of tears. We hear a lot of them say that they wouldn't have had a Christmas for their kids without what they get that day. We know that we're touching the whole family because in addition to toys, the kids get stocking stuffers. We give out fleece blankets. We give toiletries. We give books. We work with side-by-side book ministry, and each child gets 2 or 3 books. And a lot of times the kids don't have their own books at home. They go to the library at school, but they don't have their own books at home. So we provide that on that day. It's very touching. It's wonderful to see. It's worth all the effort on our part.
When we have the parents come for the distribution day, we have volunteers who act as shepherds. We call shepherds that walk with them to help them to carry the toys as they're selecting them. And it's become a holiday tradition for a lot of families. And they'll keep in touch with us and say, please let us know when we can have the opportunity to serve again. Because it's as moving for them a lot of times as it is for the families that we serve. And like Pam said, we'll have parents that just break down because they know that their kids would not have a Christmas had it not be for Nate's Toy Box.
Now, you have some stats to share with us.
Right. Last year, we served 247 families. This is at Christmas time. and almost 700 children. And again, this was just within the Northwest Local School District area. Now, we also are able to serve not only in Christmas time, but families year-round who are in crisis. We get names from, again, the school district for families that they find out about, Sun Ministry, different agencies within Colerain Township, the Help Squad, Pivot 360, EMS, police, a number of agencies will supply names to us, and again, the children's needs, and we will provide bags for those families as well. So we're able to provide services year-round. And actually, this actually began in 2022. Up until that point, we would have our distribution at Christmas time, but we saw that there was a need year-round, but we didn't have a location to keep our toys to distribute them from. White Oak Christian Church gave us a room that we could work out of year-round. And now when we're told about families from these different agencies, we will put bags together for them of appropriate toys, books, hygiene products, those type of things.
Games and puzzles.
And then get them to the families.
Now, with that being said, you need volunteers, I'm sure, Pam. How can someone be a volunteer?
Well, at first it was word of mouth and friends and family, like we said. But we have sign-ups online at White Oak Christian Church, and they can sign up to work a shift on the day of distribution. And then we also have volunteers from the community. In the past, depending on what we need that year, we've had some Boy Scout troops help us with books and with toys.
We've had offices, legal offices, staff of offices who do it as a Christmas project. Get together and come and
other churches members have helped.
We do have a Facebook page, so volunteers can contact us through our Facebook page if they want to volunteer. The families we serve, we get the names again through these agencies, so we don't do any of the vetting. That vetting is done through the agencies we work with.
Where do you get the items from? The toys, the puzzles, the hygiene items? Where do these come from?
It comes from a myriad of places, mostly from the drop-off locations that we put around the community. Last year, we had 25 drop-off locations, and that's at churches, businesses, banks, the Clifford YMCA, the senior center, both the Colerain and Green Township. Beginning about the last week in October is when our collection bins begin to be distributed to these businesses, and signs go out, both road signs and signs within the businesses themselves, and that's where we'll get the toys from. And individuals too will drop off.
And we like to give a shout out to Colerain Hope. You and I attend that on a regular basis. He chairs that. He does a pretty good job.
I know.
And sharing. He's never asked for my help, so that's okay. Tell us, in your words, I always explain what Colerain Hope is. Tell us what they're all about.
Yeah, Colerain Hope is a collaborative of local nonprofits who work together to provide volunteers, provide support for each other, and ideas. And through Colerain Hope, we learn from other 501c3s or nonprofits, and hopefully we can contribute to them as well. But it's where all these groups can come together at one location, and we have meetings once a month. It's kind of an offshoot of the Colerain Chamber, and so there are a lot of businesses involved as well. That's how we get some of our businesses who then volunteer to be collection sites for Nate's Toy Box.
I want to really congratulate both of you, because it's people like you, your organizations, and organizations such as this that makes this a more valuable, a more enriched community. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, I would like to think so. And it's not us. We kind of threw it together, started it through a tragedy, but it has become truly a community project. And again, being able to help families year-round, And it's not just the families we helped through some of the toys and that we give, but we're able to do some other things within the community as well. We were able to provide backpacks for the health and safety fair. We give relief baskets, relief boxes to all the nurses in the district, because and this is both private and parochial schools. The nurses, we found a lot of times will take money out of their own pocket to buy things that they need to provide for the children. And then we're talking about, Band-Aids, underwear for elementary schools, for hygiene products, a lot of things that aren't provided for the nurses, and we provide boxes for them just so they have it at their need or when they need it.
Just one thing I wanted to add that we skipped when we talked toys. After elementary school, we're not able to fulfill toys for the older kids. No video games or anything like that gets so expensive, and who knows what to give them. And so we've devised a bag that we give them that has a lot of essential things in, things that you may have in your home that for a needy family they don't necessarily have on hand. And in that bag, we put a manicure kit, a first aid kit, some inexpensive but extra earbuds, a journal, some pens, a package of pens.
First aid kit, a water bottle.
Yeah, a really nice water bottle
yeah.
that they use at school all the time.
Hairbrush, lip balm, drink mix to put in their water bottle. And then and what Pam's talking about is these are for the teenagers, the middle schoolers and the high schoolers that are beyond the toys. We also give each of them a $15 gift certificate for a local fast food restaurant. We were told by the counselors at the district that many times these students are asked to go out with their friends, and they just may not be able to afford to go out to a place after the game or something. And so it gives them the opportunity to do that as well with the gift certificate.
And then they also get books in along with the those necessities in that bag. So that works out, that fulfills a need for the teenagers without us having to rack our brains about what to give them toy-wise.
What you're doing is, in the family, no one is being left out.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And
And I think that's the key when a lot of these families are in crisis. We know that food, shelter, clothing are the three big ones. But with families that are struggling with those decisions and coming up with those type of things, the kids sometimes are left. I don't want to say left behind, but they don't get what they need to fulfill some of their needs. And the school district has told us that kids that are going through a crisis, they need to be ready to learn when they come to school, and anything we can do to relieve the stress on them when they come to school, they're more ready to learn. And so
it's giving them dignity,
Yes.
pride. They can move forward. They're not taking a step backward.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to thank both of you. You have a mission statement to enhance the childhood experience of children living in the Northwest Local School District. I think that pretty well says what Nate's Toy Box is all about. Gary, Pam, thank you for being with
You're
us.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This has been Community Forum. I'm Kurt Radel, Waycross Community Media. We'll see you next time.